It's like social distance. You do like the social distancing thing. Dumelang Samanani, hello South Africa, a very warm welcome to Expressions. This is definitely the place for you to air your views. I'm your host, Jacqueline Mapala.
Sinibingelela sinamukele nami your host Umxolisi wakwaMasango. Umbuzo omkhulu ke namhlanje, are people living with disabilities getting the support that they need? It's a bittersweet moment where Jackie for us namhlanje because we're reflecting on the many strides that we've made in accommodating abantu abaphila nama disabilities. On the other hand, we also speak about challenges that we face till this day. Mbukeli, we were of course on the ground and caught up with the people, and let's just have a look at this first story. So isitop sethu sanamhlanje esinye takes us to the East Rand eKatlehong lapho sidibana khona noSicelo. Now Sicelo has been living with cerebral palsy since he was 3 years old. We find out what his experiences have been and is his community accepting of him thus far. Let's go have a conversation with this young firebrand. Sajusibeke esithombeni mhlawumbe ngokuthi yini cerebral palsy.
There's different types of cerebral palsy. Let's say it's right hemiplegia, so one side of my body it doesn't work, doesn't function properly than my other side, so it affects yonke into yami emzimbeni. It affects how I walk, it affects how I think. Njengoba nibona isandla sami sinokuvaleka and manje asivuleka sithatha isikhathi, and manje ngiyalami lokhathi ngisakhula bele ngakhona ukunyathela kahle njengaleli linga. So bengimele ngihamba amafizi ukuze yonke into yami izolunga, but manje sengiyakhona ukunyathela. It's just ukuthi manje isandla sami asifunctioni kahle nathi asikhona ukubamba, but ukubamba singayibambi into siqinise, but ukuyeka sithatha isikhathi. Ngashayiswa imoto ngina 3 bengikagogo lokhathi ngishayisa imoto eThembisa. Then from there ngaphila ngaso leso simo leso.
Manje uphile kanjani ngaso lesifo since una 3? Ama-challenges uhlangabezana nawo?
Bekunzima bhodwa kakhulu futhi because abantu bebangihleka nala bengifunda khona bekuyimi umuntu oqalile kuphela. So it was very difficult for me and the teachers. So when we came here bekune team nje edlala ibhola. Ngafisa nami ukudlala ibhola, so ngahamba ngayojima nabo, then ucoach wabo wangibona ukuthi hayi lo mfana lona unesimo singafani njengathi, athi ngimthathe under my wing.
Mfethu, you have a glowing resume. Ake sikhulume ngokuthi you've traveled most parts of the world because of the sport that you're so passionate about. Ake usithathe sibeke esithombeni mhlambe usixoxele kabanzi ngalokho.
I started playing like for Gauteng province in 2007. And it was my first time playing to set up a higher than the location side. So we were traveling our provinces, and 2013 I was playing for the Orlando Pirates Academy, and from there I was also chosen for South Africa squad to go and represent South Africa in Spain for intercontinental championships. So we even came second. The Netherlands beat us 2-1 in the final. So it was my dream come true.
So ukuba nalesifo kuchinje kanjani impilo yakho?
Ngathi isibusiso kimi, because if bengekho sure bengaqalanga angazi ukuthi kube ngikuphi namhlanje, but ngathi iyavula abazali bami nami amehlo ukuthi kumele ngiqale, kumele vele ukuthi bekumele ingishayise imoto ukuze impilo yami izotshintsha. Lawa manje vele every year then there's a big one la lele ngabuya nalo Spain yileli.
Oh nice.
Ngabuya nalo Spain.
So Mfethu, you are one of those inspirational people that didn't use their disability as a barrier. Instead, you soared and reached for the stars. Angitshele Mfethu ukuthi into inspirayo yini kahle kahle?
My parents always told me to keep my head up high. They always tell me to keep my head up high every time. So my parents keep me motivated.
So my opportunities, do you think abantu abaphila nokukhubazeka have lesser opportunities masibaqhathanisa nozakwabo that are so-called able-bodied?
No, I don't think so. There's limited limited wabantu abaxhwalile. But if we take it day by day, I think nathi sizophumelela. Just ukuthi manje kumele sikhiphe i-mentality positive, singabhekisi amakhanda wethu phansi.
So my brother uMengameli has said ukuthi kuzoba khona abantu abasha abazothola amathuba omsebenzi, I think close to about 300,000. What does this mean for you guys? Do you think ukuthi mhlambe it would be nice ukuthi nani nithola amathuba afana nalawo?
Yes, it's gonna boost our confidence very high. Khona abanye abahlala endlini njengamanje abakhona ukuphuma nangaphandle. And those opportunities when they rise bazojabula.
Akhona mhlambe inhlangano ezisupport abantu abafana nawo ozaziyo ngala ekuhlaleni or anywhere else that you've heard of that help people that live with disabilities?
Ngapha nje there's nothing that I know of.
So uthini-ke kumuntu obukela expressions njengamanje mhlawumbe ophila ne-cerebral palsy njengawe osanda ukudiagnoswa nayo njengamanje mhlawumbe for them to adapt to their new normal?
Ngithi if you have started with the condition esinayo le, don't put your head down. Keep your head up high. Stay positive, and abazali bakho will help you to achieve what you always wanted in life.
Okay, ukuya phambili-ke usicelo uzibona ekuphi in the next coming years?
I want to play for Barcelona, so that's my dream, to go and play for Barcelona with abantu abangaqala.
An extremely powerful story and a reminder for you, Kochai, as a young person who's living with a disability, to ensure that you live positively. And as expressions, it's important for us to make sure that we give meaning to your experience. We continue with this very important conversation. We'll be back right after this. You're watching Expressions.
Now, welcome back. You're still with Expressions, and this is your #1 youth current affairs show. Are people living with disabilities getting the support that they need? What do you think, Labigaya? Let us know on all of our social media platforms. Now, we continue to have these very important conversations this November. Have a look at the next story. Well, guess it's a Protea Glen, Soweto, where we are here to speak with Utepo. Now, Utepo is a 33-year-old young man who had an experience that changed his life forever. Let's go find out more from him. Utepo, sikubingela sikwamukele ku-Expressions and Fair too. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me. I was shot in 2008. I was living in Pretoria at that time in Siskolweni, and I'd come home for my sister's birthday, which is Bela Jartin. About 12 or so, we decided just to go out with some friends just for an hour or so. We went out, and on our way back, just down the road here, there's a passage. A guy came rushing from behind us. Unaware that he was mugging us, we just moved aside because we thought Ufunudlula. He then stopped, pulled out a gun, requested my cell phone, and yeah. Fight or flight, and I decided to fight. So yeah, then I got shot then in the back while I was running away. And yeah, that's how I ended up with a disability. It changed my life in a very big way because firstly, it was a question of how do I get back to living in society? Would I ever live a normal life again? And also you ask yourself if you'd ever get over the fear of it happening just down the road from where I live.
Maybe take us through challenges ohlangabezana now.
9 out of 10 places that I go to on a daily, on just a regular day that I want to go to, I cannot go into without the help of someone else. So meaning that there aren't any ramps that are readily available. And in general, how people's houses are constructed, they are constructed for people who walk and can get upstairs.
Ngazi-ke you're also a creative person. Ngifuna ukwazi kuwena ukuthi how do you remain positive?
My go-to is family. I have a little sister which I'm very close with. So we talk every day like she's my best friend. My mom would be a go-to as well. when the one is down, the other one can pick the other one up. So that would be my go-to. Music and life in general, because I've learned that through whatever hardships that you're going through, there's always someone else who's going through worse.
So besilalele no president bekhuluma ngama opportunities emisebenzi for young people in particular. Siyazwa ukuthi about 300,000 yabantu abasha bazobafake emsebenzini. Do you think ukuthi ama announcements afana nalabo ayakwazi uku-accommodate abantu abaphila ngama disabilities?
I do not think so. I do not think that is being done. If they are failing people who are not living without disabilities, it's 5 times as worth for people living with disabilities, because firstly, they are not socially integrated. Secondly, they are not accommodated in public spaces. So some trying to go to colleges because they can't afford universities, it becomes a mission because they can't get up the facilities. Some universities themselves, some institutions themselves are not wheelchair friendly and are not even bothered by that. So when you enter someone into a workplace without skills, it means that they become minimum wage earners, and that leaves people in a trap as well. The role of government, I think, is to create a better awareness on disability for themselves, firstly, to themselves, understanding what they need to do for people living with disabilities. Because I was looking at the Department of Women, Children, and People Living with Disabilities. I've never seen that department doing anything anywhere. I've never seen a banner for them. I've never seen an event. I've never seen anything. So for government to put us in that department that seems so inactive, and for people with disabilities who are trying to do things, it's sort of a wall for us, because there's a lot of things that we need to look at when you look at disability. There's housing, there's transport, there's just general infrastructure, there's social development, do you understand? All these departments that are there also need to cater for disability as well.
So Mfethu, there's a person who's watching your expressions in Njengamanje who might have had to go through a life-changing incident, mhlambe nabo sebazithole bane disability either izolo or last week or last month, but now they have to deal with this new normal. What would you have to say to them?
First is acceptance. You have to accept that your life is now changed. It's not that things are impossible to do. You can do them now in a different way. There are different way for someone else living with the same disability is different from person to person. I get comfortable doing things in one way. You get comfortable doing things in your way. So you need to accept yourself and understand yourself, because your body changes as well. There's a lot of embarrassing things that might happen in the beginning, but take them as learning curves. What I say as well is stay positive. If you're someone who used to go out, try going out. If you were someone who liked reading, do that. Do what you feel most comfortable with, and don't let other people push you into doing things. Take it slowly, but once you've accepted yourself, then you're good to go.
So, uNovember ke inyanga ye disability rights awareness. See expressions asithatha lethuba khulumisana nabantu abasha who are living with disabilities. Namhlanje ke siseBaklu la sikhulumisana khona nobhuti uFreddy waKantumba, who's going to be talking to us about how he's been living positively despite having a disability. Let's go catch up with him. Maybe if you can just tell us, how did you end up living with a disability?
Oh yeah, that was 12 years ago. I was driving to work with a motorbike and I got involved in an accident just 1 kilometer from the house. Yeah, and then I broke my neck and ended up in hospital, and then they told me you got a neck injury, a spinal cord injury, and you can't walk anymore. Ready? Mm-hmm.
Computer scientist, talk to me about that.
What I do is talk to businesses and they've got the issues. They ask me for advisors and I tell them what we can do with computers, what we can do with technology, basically.
We're having this conversation, during the month where, a special spotlight is being placed on people living with disabilities. How do you live positively and look past what happened to you?
First of all, I was very much inspired by my pastor book, Finding a Way to Win. And that was before my accident, but I didn't know I would need that kind of mentality at a certain time of my life. And then the accident came, just decided, look, you're not dead, you're still there for something. So that's my mindset every day.
Clearly, a lot still needs to be done to ensure that we accommodate young people living with disabilities and we ensure that they are incorporated into the mainstream economy. We continue with this also important conversation after the break. We'll be back. You're watching Expressions.
So welcome back. You're still with Expressions, and this is your #1 youth current affairs show. Siyabuza-ke namhlanje, do people who live with disabilities get the support that they so need? Well, joining us now on the line is Alan Downey from the Disability Info South Africa. Alan, thank you very much for your time on Expressions.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Alan, why a need to start the info portal?
I'm a quadriplegic who was injured in a diving accident, and I found it very difficult to find information on the internet that could assist me to find products, etc. So I thought of the idea of putting one information site together where all information could be found on that website or linked from that website to other websites to assist with disabilities.
So now the big question on the show today, are people living with disabilities getting the support that they so need?
There are organizations and companies that are offering support, but I don't believe that there's enough support being offered, because there are a lot of people out there that don't have the abilities or the technology to access or contact these organizations. And some of they battle to find the information about them.
November is Disability Awareness Month. What does it mean to you?
There's definitely been more people interested in what is happening with disability, but I believe that it should be 12 months of the year. It shouldn't just be 1 month in a year or 2 months in a year.
Wow, Alan Downey, we have to thank you so much for your time on Expressions today. Mugelige uyena geloyo Alan Downey from Disability Info South Africa, giving you all the know and info that you need. And of course, we'll be publishing his details as well on the show. Now, Jacqueline also took some time to be on the field with the various stakeholders, and they had some conversations. Let's see what went down.
Anastasia, welcome to Expressions. Thank you so very much for sitting down with us and having a chat with us. Are there opportunities in the sector on the ground when it comes to young people who are living with disabilities?
Currently, yes, I would say there is, because we're placing for skilled and unskilled people. Unskilled people we have candidates that just have matric. Obviously, we will start them with the learnership program, just learn on the job before they can take on higher roles. And we have people that have experience, and it depends on what the company is actually looking for. But also the companies are now welcoming because of what we're putting them, the education that we are telling them about that, the sensitization that we're also doing it. And we have companies like SAE4D Forum that we have partnered with, that we forever attend the breakfast seminars or the webinars that we have with them, that they actually take us through on how to actually accommodate persons with disabilities, on how to engage with these people, on how to create opportunities for persons with disabilities, what to do and not what to do, and also to kill the whole stigmatization around persons with disabilities.
Lush, we just want to understand, what is the gap, and just to reiterate a little bit more, that you identified, but most importantly, that you wanted to bridge?
So we wanted to advance the disability agenda, and we wanted to enable South African employers to become disability confident, to be able to meaningfully integrate persons with disabilities in the job market, to have opportunities and access and then to advance within the organization and develop over a period of time. So we wanted to specifically come together as employers, provide education, bring experts from the field, from various organizations, and to address matters such as visible disabilities. And how do you also accommodate somebody that has non-visible disabilities? And that can range from bipolar disorder, depression and anxiety, epilepsy, a number of different disabilities.
How do we educate employers just so that we can increase the absorption rate of young people who are living with disabilities within the workspace?
So for me, it starts with sensitization and consultation. And this shouldn't be part of the HR department's responsibility alone, or the EE department, employment equity. It should actually be integrated throughout the organization, from strategy, executives, line managers, staff members. And I think in this way we then actively and meaningfully then support a diverse and inclusive workforce.
We as the NCPD, we try to alleviate challenges that are faced by persons with disabilities. And also we do advocacy for children with disabilities. So within the NCPD, we've got various projects where we have Casual Day as one of our biggest projects, and we also have Nepiran. We also have Access Audit and Universal Design. We also have job placement for persons with disabilities.
How have you sort of changed people's lives, especially specifically those who are living with disabilities?
There's various companies that we have assisted in terms of job placement. Let's say a certain company is looking for an experiential training student, then they contact us, then we do placement for them. And with our biggest project, Casual Day, we are able to assist DPOs, which is the organizations for persons with disabilities. For instance, Blind SA, we also assist schools in terms of assistive devices.
So we've come to the end of today's episode, and we're hoping, Gohaye, as a young person who's possibly living with disabilities, no matter what kind of disability it is, that you were inspired and encouraged from some of the stories that we were able to share with you today. And we want to say halala, halala to all the young people who were bold enough and courageous enough to talk to us about their challenges as well as the experiences. And as we know, and as we put a very important focus on your rights, you deserve to have your rights upheld, and you deserve to have your rights protected as a young person in South Africa with disabilities, right, Ngo?
Yeah, and Jackie, as ukuthi sibe considerate towards abantu abaphila ngama disabilities, it should extend beyond November. And we have to thank you so much for you guys for watching, and nalabantu abazile ku platform yethu to share their stories. Freddie, we see you. Tepo, we see you. Stelo, thank you so much, guys. Keep it going. Bugeli, thank you so much for your participation. Ey'nkundleni zethu zokuxhumana. Till next time, sasihambile. Sale kahle.
Adios, muchachos. Bye. Thanks for watching.